Hey guys, how's it going? I hope you're having a wonderful day. I'm continuing with my Pink discography journey, and we will be listening to her second studio album from 2001 called Missundaztood. I'm always excited when I'm about to listen to a Pink album, and I've been wanting to listen to this album for quite a while, and here we are. Looking at the track list, there are 15 tracks. The album is 59 minutes. And I'm looking at the track list, and the songs I recall hearing are tracks number 1, obviously, Get the Party Started, and track number 7, Just Like a Pill, and track number 11, Don't Let Me Get Me. So the other 12 tracks are brand new to me. And as you just saw, we kicked off this video with Get the Party Started. What is there to say about that song? This song is part of my childhood. I remember listening to it all the time in elementary school, on the radio, at recess, hearing it at people's parties, birthday parties, and it's just a great pop song. It's full of energy, gets the body moving. It really draws a crowd and makes people enthusiastic, and it's very nostalgic to so many people, and it's one of my favorite Pink songs, and this song will never get old. It's a little hard to believe this CD came out in 2001. I just said CD. I'm listening to this CD on Apple Music, actually. I like saying that, CD. I miss CDs. Do you miss CDs? I miss CDs. Instead of calling these videos first listen plus album review videos, I should call them first listen plus CD reviews. I don't know, there's something about CD that just takes me back to my youth. However, I do recall cassettes in my parents' house when I was growing up, when I was just a wee toddler in the early 90s. There were cassettes laying around. I remember my mom or my dad had this basket full of cassettes from the 80s or early 90s, what have you. And then gradually through the 90s, those cassettes turned into CDs. And I know what I'm saying right now has nothing to do with Pink or her album Missundaztood, but I'm just kind of reminiscing. It's interesting how, at least in my lifetime, from the 90s to 2000s, 2010s, we go from cassettes to CDs to iPods, and then now to streaming on Apple Music. You know, where is music headed next after streaming? Who knows? So leave a comment, tell me if you still buy physical media like CDs, or do you opt for streaming? I know a lot of young people today have never even owned a CD, probably have never even listened to a CD, so I'm more so speaking to people who are in their, mid-20s, 30s, 40s, 50s. Do you still prefer buying physical media like CDs, even records? I know records are making a huge comeback. I almost want to buy a record player and buy some records from my favorite artists. But I will also say, I know a lot of you are saying, just shut the fuck up and get on with Pink CD already. But I'm going to say that I was at Sunrise Records a few months ago, and cassettes are making a comeback. They have a display full of cassettes. So I guess people are making cassettes now and people are buying them. I know a lot of nostalgic things that people bought in the 90s are now making a comeback and people are wanting them again because of nostalgic purposes. Even the 80s, and I mean, look at records. I mean, record players are now making a comeback. I mean, everything that's old or was old is now new again. Okay, enough of that. Now let's get into track number 2, 18-wheeler. Okay, so that was track number 2, 18-wheeler. And I like this song. I like the meaning behind it. I like what she has to say in some parts. She says, you can't keep me, you can't keep me, you can't keep me down. You can push me out the window, I'll just get back up. You can run over me with your 18-wheeler truck, but I'll still get back up. So I like the meaning behind the song. She's not taking any bullshit. She's saying you can do whatever you want, you can say what you want, but at the end of the day, I'm still going to get back up again. And I think that's really powerful. And I like how she's using the metaphor of an 18-wheeler, because we all know an 18-wheeler is pretty big, so regardless of the impact, regardless of how big the situation is that knocks you down or how traumatizing it is, even as big as an 18-wheeler, regardless if it just rams you over, you will still get back up on your feet, whether it's just a tiny little carriage that knocks you over or a huge 18-wheeler, regardless of how big it is, you should still get back up and do whatever it is you were trying to achieve. I mean, this song could be alluding to many things, whether it be whatever situation you're in, a career that's not going too well, or people talking about you behind your back, or maybe a relationship, maybe it's an abusive relationship. But what is turning me off from this song is one of the lyrics, which didn't age very well. She's saying, "You can hang me like a slave, I'll go underground." That lyric definitely didn't age very well. And we do live in 2020. I mean, who knows? Maybe you're watching this video in 2021, 2022, 10 years from now, 2030, who knows? But 2020 has been a very, very, very difficult year for everybody around the world. I'm not going to explain it to you. You can look into it yourself. The whole COVID-19 and, the Black Lives Matter movement. I mean, just, it's a fucked up world right now in 2020, and there's a lot of conflict, there's a lot of uncertainty. This isn't a very happy year for anyone. And in particular, reading this lyric in 2020, it's definitely rubbing me the wrong way. You can hang me like a slave, I'll go underground. And when she says I'll go underground, for those of you who don't know, she is alluding to the Underground Railroad, which was a network of secret routes and safe houses established in the United States during the early to mid 19th century and used by enslaved African Americans to escape into free states and Canada. And as a whole, you know what? I did enjoy the song. So now let's move on to track number 3, Misunderstood. Okay, so that was track number 3, Misunderstood, and I enjoyed listening to this song. Once again, I like the meaning behind the song. I like the production. It was really catchy, and it's pretty straightforward. She's essentially just saying, it's not that complicated, I'm just misunderstood. There's a song I was listening to up all night, there's a voice I'm hearing, say it's alright. That ending though, the ending of this song just really put a smile on my face. I don't even know what that was. Oh! Oh! But anyway, now let's move on to track number 4, Dear Diary. Okay, and that was track number 4, Dear Diary, and this was another song I enjoyed reading. Dear Diary, I want to tell my secrets because you're the only one that I know who will keep them. I feel like this album so far has been a diary of sorts from Pink. I feel like it's a bit more personal and open. I'll also say that Linda Perry has had a hand in this album. She's co-written quite a few of the songs so far. Looking at the writing credits at the end of each song, it looks like she's had a hand in writing or co-writing 3 out of the 4 songs so far, so she seems to be a pretty big deal on this album. And looking further down on the track list, Linda Perry's actually featured on a song, track number 13, Lonely Girl. And on track number 3, the previous track, Misunderstood, Pink opens up the song by saying, "Go David, go Linda." So far, 4 for 4, I've enjoyed all 4 tracks so far on this album. So now let's move on to track number 5, Eventually. Okay, and that was track number 5, Eventually, and I love this song. It's one of my favorites on the album so far, and I loved listening to it, reading the lyrics. Once again, Linda Perry had a hand in writing it, and I will say, some of these songs sound like songs that Christina Aguilera would have released on her Stripped album, which came out a year after Pink's Misunderstood. And I liked it. It's really resonating with me. I like what she has to say. We're continuing the theme of being misunderstood. And she's saying, I didn't know the price. You'll get yours eventually. So what good am I to you if I can't be broken? You'll get yours. Yes, you'll get yours eventually. Karma is a bitch. The classic saying, whatever goes around comes around. Well, all is done and the glitter fades away, they'll get theirs eventually. It's every man for themselves. There are no teammates. This life gets lonely when everybody wants something. So I imagine a lot of people were latching on to Pink, wanting something from her because she's this global superstar now. And lots of fake people wanting to take advantage of her. And I imagine that can be a very lonely life to live when people are just interested to be around you because they want something from you, like money or clout, or they're trying to get somewhere in life. That's the only reason they want to be around you. When everybody wants something, they'll smile up in your face, but they'll get theirs eventually, and I hope I'm there. None of them know me or want to share my pain. They only wish to bask in the light, then fade away. I'm sure 19 years later, now in 2020, Pink knows a lot more, and she isn't as naive, and she feels like she can't be taken advantage of, and she knows people more. She knows people's true intentions, if they're out to get her, if they're just being around her because they want something from her, like money or fame or reputation. But when you're young and new to a certain career, or you're just young in general, I feel like you don't know a lot about people's intentions. I remember when I was in my early 20s, teenage years, late teens, and I was so naive. People would just take advantage of me. People would just say things, I believe them, and I didn't have the right people around me to tell me, no, they're lying, they're doing this, they just want this from you. So it definitely goes hand in hand, starting a new career and not knowing much about what you're getting yourself into, and then also being young and naive, a teenager, and not really knowing a lot about the world. So many players, you'd think I was a ball game. I mean, this goes for anyone, regardless of if you're famous or if you're not famous. Wherever you are in the world, you really need to assess the people in your life, whether they be friends or someone you're dating or family members, acquaintances. You really need to evaluate why someone is in your life and what their true intentions are, because you might think it's one thing, but it's a totally other thing. And it's really good to learn that young. And like I said already, I'm a firm believer in karma. What goes around comes around. Whatever you put out into the universe, you're gonna get back. So if you put negativity out into the universe, if you do shitty things, that shit's just gonna come back to you. Maybe not tomorrow, maybe not next year, but eventually. And I'm also a firm believer that if you put positivity and light and kindness out into the universe, you're gonna get that back. And your life is gonna be very blissful and good things are gonna happen. Think of it as a magnet. You know, if you're a vessel of negativity and drama and bitterness, you're gonna attract that shit into your life. I've seen it time and time again. But if you're a magnet of happiness, goodness, positivity, you're just gonna attract those things into your life. That's probably one of the most powerful things I learned in my life, was the power of attraction, attracting the right things into your life. So now let's move on to track number 6, Numb. Now this is the Daleks mix / LP version. At times I would push my feelings aside to let you feel like the coldest winter. I am frozen from you. I gave you my all, but baby, I'm numb, numb. Now I'm gone, gone, gone. I was weak before, now you made me so numb. I'm numb, numb. Okay, and that was track number 6, Numb. This is another song I love. Numb, numb, Numb. I will also say this album sounds quite different from her first album. Her first album, Can't Take Me Home, was pop, but it was also more R&B sounding. This one is pop, but it's more rock sounding, in my opinion. You could tell just from reading the lyrics on this album that she's gone through a lot, that she might still be going through a lot in 2001. I'm Novocaine, I'm numb and nothing's real, like the coldest winter, I'm frozen from you. I was weak before, now you made me so numb, I can't feel much for you anymore. I gave you my all, baby, I'm numb. She also says that she cried, but they were silent because they were inside of her. This person called her names and made her feel dumb. She felt like a battered child. I got used to your pain. So I get the sense that Pink really went through a lot of difficult relationships, whether she was dating someone or perhaps family members or friends. I mean, she seems like she's been through a lot, and she was called things, and she was called stupid, and people just treated her like shit. And now, at this point, she's just numb. She's put up with so much that she just feels numb inside. I mean, I can relate to a fair amount of things that Pink is singing about on this album. I mean, there were times where I felt like I was talked down to and made to feel like shit, and there were a lot of times where I cried silently inside, though you didn't see my tears. I did cry, and people left me numb. People left me cold to the point where I just, just thinking about them now, I just have no emotion towards them. I just feel numb thinking about them. And in situations like this, it's very easy for people to feel numb and to turn to drugs and alcohol and self-destructive methods and what have you. I mean, this album, it's kind of, wow, it's very personal. Missundaztood. Now I'm understanding the title of the album. So now let's move on to track number 7, Just Like a Pill. Okay, and that was track number 7, Just Like a Pill. One of my favorite Pink songs ever. I remember listening to this song a lot when I was a teenager, and I feel like it helped me through a lot. And once again, the lyrics are really great, and what's really interesting is now that I've listened to half the album, I can now understand the song a lot more, I guess that's the word I'm looking for. The song makes a lot more sense in the context of the album now, and now I understand the song a lot more. The song continues the story of the album. It's very personal. She's saying, I think I'll get out of here where I can run just as fast as I can to the middle of nowhere, to the middle of my frustrated fears, and I swear you're just like a pill. Instead of making me better, you keep making me ill. So the toxicity is still continuing on this album. The toxicity that she's feeling, and she's feeling extremely frustrated, and she's feeling lost, and she feels abused and emotionally abused, physically, everything. And it seems to be a very frustrating time in her life, just reading the lyrics to a lot of these songs. This is probably one of the most frustrating albums I've listened to in the context of the story being told, where the singer just seems so frustrated with the way that they were treated, and they're feeling numb, and she's saying that you're just like a pill, instead of making me better, you're making me ill, and just the abuse and being misunderstood, and everything just kind of rolled into one. It's just a tornado of just anger and frustration and loneliness. So now let's move on to track number 8, Family Portrait. Okay, that was track number 8, Family Portrait. I'm a little speechless. I feel like there's so much I want to say, but there's also so little I want to say at the same time. This song really resonated for me. Pink came from a broken home, and I can really relate to this song because I came from a broken home as well. My parents divorced when I was really young, and there was a lot of drama there that I don't want to think about right now, but read some of the lyrics to this song. It really does bring back unwanted memories. And I think of my sister, who is 4 years older than me, and I think of my sister when I read this song because I feel like my sister went through a lot more than I did through the divorce and through my childhood. And I see a lot of how she rebelled, and I don't even want to talk about it. I just know how deep of a connection my sister and my dad had. I don't have a relationship with my dad anymore, but my sister and my dad were always tight and strong, and he always confided in her because she was older than me and she knew more. And a lot of times I felt like I was left in the dark. Nobody wanted to tell me anything. I was very naive and innocent. And I didn't really know what was happening. Whereas my sister, she knew everything that was happening. And I feel like everything that occurred in our lives affected her a lot more than myself. And reading the lyrics to this song, Pink had a really rough childhood, it seems. And that seemed to continue into her young adult life as well, just from reading the lyrics to other songs on this album. In our family portrait, we look so pretty happy. Let's play pretend. Let's act like it comes naturally. And that goes for so many families out there. They have the perfect house, the white picket fence. Everything seems perfect and fine. But behind closed doors, it's almost like having to put on a mask every time you leave the house, having to betray a certain image. And then once you go home, that's when everything just falls apart. Daddy, please stop yelling. I can't stand the sound. Make mama stop crying because I need you around. I mean, I've gone through very similar things in my life. There were times when I was a kid where I remember crying myself to sleep every night. I remember I probably cried myself to sleep 7 days in a row because I knew I had school in the morning and I had to fall asleep so I could be up for school. But I was crying because my parents were yelling and arguing in the kitchen and slamming cabinets. And it was just a whole thing. I hear glasses breaking as I sit up in my bed. I told Dad you didn't mean those nasty things you said. You fight about money, about me, and my brother. It's like I wrote this song, or it's like my sister wrote this song. It's very powerful. So now let's move on to track number 9, Misery with Steven Tyler.
Another night in these blues got me down. Since you've been gone, I ain't even saying our love to cause such misery.
Okay, and that was track number 9, Misery with Steven Tyler. I really enjoyed listening to Steven Tyler and Pink doing a collaboration. I loved everything about it. I love the production. I just love everything about this song. It's always a joy to listen to Steven Tyler's voice. It's so recognizable, just like Pink's. And I love Aerosmith so much. Oddly enough, I haven't listened to an Aerosmith album before, but I definitely want to go on an Aerosmith discography journey one day. I have no idea when that's going to be, so I really enjoyed this song. So now let's move on to track number 10, Respect featuring Scratch.
1, 2, 3, 4. I get really sick and tired of boys up in my face. It seems we can't go anywhere without a car that goes beep beep.
I knew it.
I can't blame those horny boys. I would make me mine.
Ha!
It's just a minimum.
Okay, and that was track number 10, Respect, featuring Scratch. This was fun to listen to. Finally, we are having some fun after all that seriousness on the album, and I enjoyed the song. Respect, yes, R-E-S-P-C-T. She sampled some, well, she didn't sample, but she used that part of Aretha Franklin's classic signature song, R-E-S-P-C-T. Am I the only one who loves saying that? R-E-S-P-C-T, R-E-S-P-C-T. I can't blame those horny boys. I would make me mine when I pass you in a club. Ooh la la, you gasp. Back up, boy, I ate your toy or your piece of ass. And I'm sorry if my face is really oily and sweaty. It's a very hot day today. We're going through a heat wave where I live, and my apartment is really hot. I have the air conditioning off because I can't have it off as I'm recording because it's too loud, so I have to suffer. And to top it off, I'm wearing a pink denim jacket, so I'm dying right now. So anyway, let's move on to track number 11, Don't Let Me Get Me, the radio edit.
I can't take direction and my socks are never clean. I'm a hazard to myself. Don't let me get me. LA told me you'll be a pop star. Tired of being compared to damn Britney Spears. She's so pretty, that just ate me. Don't let me get me. I'm my own worst enemy. It's bad when you know yourself. Don't let me get me.
Okay, and that was track number 11, Don't Let Me Get Me, and this is another one of my favorite Pink songs ever. Again, I remember hearing this song all the time when I was a kid, and I remember watching the music video, and I always loved the line when she says, you know, that infamous Britney Spears line, don't compare me to Britney Spears, I don't want to be like Britney Spears, tired of being compared to damn Britney Spears, she's so pretty, that just ate me. So it looks like initially they wanted to manufacture Pink as some sort of classic 2000s pop star like Genie the Bottle, Christina Aguilera, Britney Spears, Oops, I Did It Again. But Pink was having none of that. She didn't want to be all bubbly and glossy like Britney or Christina. She wanted to be her own chick. I can't take the person staring back at me. I'm a hazard to myself. Don't let me get me. I'm my own worst enemy. It's bad when you annoy yourself, so irritating. So it looks like initially Pink didn't like the person she was seeing in the mirror. Perhaps she thought she wasn't pretty enough or good enough to compare or to compete with the other pop stars. Maybe there was a lot of pressure put on her. The record executives maybe wanted to, you know, create a certain look for her or what have you. I mean, when you get into the entertainment business, there's always so much pressure when it comes to your appearance and your look. I mean, this isn't anything new. Ever since, you know, the early 20th century, you know, even with Judy Garland, there was so much pressure with Judy in terms of her appearance. She was too fat and she was ugly, she needed to look more sexy and attractive, and there's always that stigma with women that you need to look sexier and hotter, you need to be thinner, you need to wear makeup, the hair has to be done right. And the same thing goes for guys too. I mean, guys aren't excluded from this pressure as well, but not as much as women. I mean, I'm not a woman, so I can't relate to the pressure that a woman would face in the entertainment industry, but I imagine it's a lot harsher than for guys. So anyway, let's move on to track number 12, Gone to Hollywood. California. Gone to California. Wow.
To live in the summer sun. Philadelphia freedom. Going to California. Corruption on every corner.
Okay, and that was track number 12, Gone to California, and this was a great song. I loved the jazz in this song. It was totally unexpected. I mean, Pink has played around with pop, rock, R&B, jazz. I mean, there's everything on this album. And Pink is talking about going to California. California has this reputation for being glamorous. It's the place where dreams come true. It's where you have to go to be a star, and the streets are paved with silver and gold. But from what I've heard from many people and from reading lyrics to many songs, it's, that's very true. It's the place to be if you want to make it big, but it's also very corrupt. California as a whole. It's also where dreams go to die, and it's strangers selling you sweets, corrupt people selling you sweets. She says here, hustlers selling sweets, baby is home crying, corruption on every corner. So California is very corrupt, just like anywhere in the world, but I feel like California in particular, because it is the hub for the entertainment industry. Even YouTubers, I mean, I've watched a few YouTube videos where a YouTuber would go to California because it's the place to be. It's where a lot of YouTubers go to become more successful, and a lot of them end up moving back home because it's just too much. It's too overwhelming. It's too corrupt. It's too catty. And it's really sad to watch videos and hear stories about not just YouTubers, but just people in general. People since, the early 20th century have gone to Hollywood to achieve their dreams of becoming an actress or an actor. And some of them work out, but a lot of those dreams are shattered. I mean, I have to think what someone would do to actually reach the top and climb the ladder. I mean, I imagine there are a lot of people who are very successful today. I can only imagine the things they had to do to get to where they are today. I'll write and tell you what I see. I'm going to California. Somebody say a prayer. I'm going to California. So Pink is very aware that Hollywood is corrupt. California is corrupt. Corruption on every corner, but she knows it's the place to be. She knows she has to go there to make it big. She knows she has to be there to be the successful artist that she wants to be. Again, I could be talking out my ass. I don't know anything about the entertainment industry. I don't know anything about California. I've never been to California. I've never been to the United States, so what the fuck do I know? But I'm just giving you input as to what I've heard and seen in videos and movies and reading the lyrics, so take my advice and take what I have to say with a grain of salt. But anyway, let's move on to track number 13, Lonely Girl, featuring Linda Perry. Okay, and that was track number 13, Lonely Girl, featuring Linda Perry, and this is a continuation of another one of the themes of the album that I picked up, is Pink's struggle of becoming a superstar and the pressures of going to California, Hollywood, and being manufactured into this pop star, and the loneliness, feeling like a lonely girl. Do you even know who you are? I guess I'm trying to find a borrowed dream or a superstar. I want to be a star. Is life good to you or is it bad? I can't tell anymore. So it seems like she's dealing with a lot of internal struggles of wanting to become a star, the star she wanted to when she was 16 years old. But at the same time, it's so much more difficult and worse than she thought it would be. And it's almost a nightmare to her at times. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what Pink went through when she was in the budding stages of her career, like in 2001. But just from reading the lyrics, I have a small idea as to what she was going through. And there's also a lot of pain she's still dealing with. I can remember the very first time I cried, how I wiped my eyes and I buried the pain inside. So a lot of pain throughout her life, like we know already, through her childhood and even now at the beginning stages of her career. A lot of times she had to bury the pain inside, she had to silence the tears and suck it up and be a big girl. So now let's move on to track number 14, My Vietnam.
Mama was a lunatic, never liked school that much.
Okay, and that was track number 14, My Vietnam. This was a great song to read. She's saying how her life is like Vietnam. It's her Vietnam. I'm at war. Life keeps on dropping bombs, and I keep score. Mama was a lunatic. She liked to push my buttons, and then she says she never liked school. They tried to teach me better, but I just wasn't hearing it because I thought I was already pretty clever. So she thought she was hot shit. Pig thought she was hot shit. Pig thought she knew everything, even though her parents were trying to teach her better, apparently. And at the same time, life just keeps dropping bombs into her life. Things just keep getting worse. When something seems to get better and her life seems put together, another bomb falls into her life and everything is just fucked up again. I mean, this album is... It's exhausting. It's exhausting to listen to just because there's so much to hear on this album. There's so much that Pink is telling me, and it's a lot to ingest and to take in, and it's a little draining. So now we've come to the end of the album. Track number 15, Catch 22.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Pink Airlines.
Pink would make a great flight attendant. I'm just gonna say it.
Here we go, we're jumping off the wings, we're going round in circles, it's a catch-22. Notify a flight attendant immediately. All electrical equipment, including cell phones, two-way pagers, portable CD players. You're searching for your cheese, cause you feel like Mighty Mouse. Here we go, riding on a whim, connecting with the rendezvous. Might fall on you or your neighbor's head and knock you the fuck out.
Yeah. Okay, and that was track number 15, Catch 22. This was so much fun to listen to. I loved Pink using her flight attendant voice. I did say at the beginning of this song that she would make a great flight attendant, but I don't know about that because Pink does have a bit of an attitude, so I feel like she'd go off on a couple people on the plane and then Pink would just be thrown out of the plane and fired. I could see that happening, honestly, because Pink doesn't take bullshit. How would Pink do in customer service? I think she would get fired on the first day because I feel like she just wouldn't be able to hold her tongue. She'd just say, fuck you, I'm over it. So this was a fun way to wrap up the album. We started off this album with a fun track, Get the Party Started, and then we ended this album with a fun track, Catch 22. So it all kind of came full circle. So that is that. That is all 15 tracks of Missundaztood, and wow, I feel like I went on a journey listening to this album. I thought it would just be your typical 2001 pop album from Pink, but it was so much more than that, and I loved it so much. 10 out of 10. Each track was phenomenal. Each track I loved. I loved the story. I loved the themes of her life and the hardships she had to go through and deal with, not just during her childhood, but through her young adult years and, starting out in the entertainment industry, becoming a global superstar, the pressure she had to face, and everything. I mean, at times it must have been hell for her. And I can only imagine the things she went through. But at the end of the day, I'm hoping everything she went through made her a stronger person. I know Pink is a very strong person. She just radiates strength. And hopefully she's in a better place now, 19 years later. So what did you guys think of the album? What are your favorite tracks? What did you think of it when you first heard it, maybe back in 2001? Where does this album rank on your Pink discography list? And yeah, I think that's all I want to say. This is a very long video, so I'm just gonna wrap it up now. I really, really, really enjoyed this album. I loved it so much. I didn't think I would love it as much as I did. I knew I was gonna like the album because it's Pink. Come on, it's Pink from 2001. But I really enjoyed the story she shared with us, and it was very personal. It was like reading her diary, and most certainly she probably was misunderstood, and hopefully now 19 years later she is understood. So thanks for watching, guys. You can find me on Instagram, you can find me on Twitter, you can message me, you can tell me other artists I should check out. I'm open to any artists from any decade. You can find me on Apple Music, you can check out my playlist, so on and so forth. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you next time. Take care.